let us seek wisdom and understanding as we make decisions that will impact all residents. Let us pray for have compassion and unity for all well-being. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We now call the Wheeling City Council meeting of April 1st, 2025 to order. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Osorio?
Here.
Ms. Kane?
Here.
Mayor Magruder?
Here.
Mr. Palmer?
Here.
Mr. Seidler? Here. Mr. Sklavonakis?
Present.
Mr. Thorngate? Quorum is present.
Thank you. We also have the minutes on the table here from March 2025. Is there a motion to accept?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as received.
Second. Is there any discussion, changes, additions? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion's approved. At this point, we're going to do a motion to go into actually 3 public hearings. Don't be frightened. I don't think it's as long as it appears. So I'm going to ask if there's a motion to leave the regular order of business and go into public hearing session.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? We now enter public hearing. The first article tonight is Article 507, known as the dog and cat issue. There seems to be a strong preference here by council that will likely table this, and I think Councilman Seidler would like to make some remarks.
Yeah, I would. I want to first thank everybody for coming out today. Obviously when we have some big issues like this and controversial things like that, it's great to see a lot of folks come out. I want to thank everybody that wrote me and wrote council and, educated me on some things that I wasn't aware of. So I'm new to this dog and cat thing. I've had dogs and cats all my life, but this type of thing, what we were trying to address is a huge litter problem that is in our neighborhoods. And I think we've been fighting that for well over a year now. And at the advice of the health department and the prosecutor's office, they had recommended to us that we put an ordinance in place that made it illegal to feed these animals. That might have been short-sighted on my behalf, putting that out there without talking to some more folks first, and for that I apologize. Again, I appreciate the education lesson I got from folks on this. I will absolutely, at the time in the meeting in which we're supposed to vote on this, I will make a motion to table this ordinance so that we can go back and redesign this thing in a more productive way that makes sense. I think it looks something like probably working towards a trap and neuter and release program with some sort of funding towards that. And also, it was never our intent to stop somebody from doing this on private property anyway. So, again, I want to apologize in advance for the short-sightedness on that. It was never my intent to put any animals in harm, obviously. Anyway, with that, I'm going to move to table this at the appropriate time in the meeting, and we'll come back to this and hopefully with a more productive way to address this. Thank you.
Okay. Having heard the remarks of Councilman Seidler, I just want to... Yes, sir.
So just a kind of a little bit of a clarification. There's a public hearing that would be held if this ordinance were to be changed, and the fact that it's going to be tabled or likely tabled tonight, I would assume then that the public hearing, there would be another public hearing at council's discretion on new language. So the language that is before the council for the public hearing tonight would not be the same language that another public hearing would be held on. So the public would have another opportunity to comment if this were to come back from the table. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to clarify that.
Thank you, Mr. Herron. So we do have like 12 people signed up to speak, and I think you've heard the comments of the city manager. If you wish to just leave that go tonight, because the language will ultimately change anyway. So is there anyone here that has signed up knowing that, who still wants to speak, knowing that the conditions may well change? Hearing none, I'm going to... Okay, we'll do that. That's a good point. Yes, sir. What's your name? Michael, please, here's the rule. Please step up to our podium. Give us your name, address, and you have 3 minutes to address the council, sir. Thank you, Michael.
Michael Geertz, 2207 Hazlet, Ward 1. Mr. Mayor, City Council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to briefly address and ask that you vote against the the proposed amendment to Article 507 of the City Code, making it unlawful to provide food or sustenance to feral or stray cats in the city, i.e. Article 507-14. First, the feeding of feral and stray cats does not lead to an increase in vermin such as mice and rats, as has been suggested. An immediate example is Disneyland. In California. Disneyland feeds and cares for approximately 200 feral cats at its theme park in order to control the rodent population there. There's plenty of sites, but you can look at DisneylandCats.com. So if feeding feral cats increased the rodent population at Disneyland, I doubt the folks at Disneyland would continue feeding them as they have for years now. Rather, any increase in the rodent population on the island or the city of Wheeling in general is more likely due to an increase in the accumulation of trash and abandoned houses in the area, as opposed to the feeding of cats. Clean up the trash and you clean up the rodent population. Certainly, a better first step would be enforcing existing ordinances on trash and litter cleanup. A walk or drive around Wheeling clearly evidences that existing ordinances are not being enforced. In my own ward, Ward 1, someone in the 2500 block of Hazlet continues to dump trash out of their car into the woods just above the walking trail. The irony is that there's a sign in the immediate area indicating that there is a fine of up to $500 for littering. I pick up trash and beer cans along the walking trail on an almost daily basis. Need to walk. So we need better enforcement of existing ordinances. Second, I spoke with Connie Kane, thank you, Ms. Kane, and she noted that there appears to be an issue with a few people leaving food, creating a mess, along with someone in South Wheeling feeding raccoons. She advised that people had been asked them to stop, but apparently to no avail. I suggested, and I suggest again tonight, that instead of enacting an overly broad ordinance scapegoating cats, that perhaps these few individuals can be brought to the attention of law enforcement who can get them to desist under current ordinances and wildlife statutes, especially the gentleman feeding raccoons. Indeed, Judge Sims, in the past year and a half, has issued a restraining order against a couple in Bethlehem for feeding raccoons. You find that on WTRF. Sounds like these few problem individuals simply need to have a restraining order brought against them and
Michael?
enforced.
I've got to ask you, sir, your time's expired.
All right.
Thank you. There are some others signed up. I'm going to read your name, so if you want to speak, you're welcome to. If you want to not speak and wait till the next hearing, you're also welcome. Julie Seibert Carrasio. Julie, same rules, please. State your name, address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Julie Caraccio, 8 Forest Hills Drive in Wheeling. First, I want to thank Justice Hudson of Wheeling Free Press. If you hadn't done your Substack, I would have known about this issue, so thank you. I would like to emphasize solutions because I felt that hasn't been done. I know things are going to change. West Virginia Department of Agriculture has a $1 million fund for TNR. A barn program. Have we talked to Ogilvy Stables to see if they'd be interested in the cats? Have we reached out to people in the community, such as local rescues, for community solutions? I feel like y'all are not interested in solutions, but punishment and retribution. You are proposing a $300 first offense fine. That's more expensive than the fines for trespassing, transporting explosive materials, public intoxication, and booze to underage folks. A second fine of $500 is almost as much as DUI and prostitution. It's more than assault and battery and brandishing a weapon. The third fine is $1,000. There was nothing listed on the document I found for $1,000. The closest were $612 for overweight on the suspension bridge, beer ordinance, reckless injury, and out-of-state plates. Rats are attracted by clutter, water, and dilapidated housing as 3 examples. We can't control the water, but what are we doing about the other 2? One woman shared on Facebook she has been feeding a colony for 9 years with no rats. Another woman shared, even though you have not put this particular law in place, that a policeman stopped her and followed her for miles which I find highly disturbing. That reminds me of Russia or Nazi Germany. West Virginia is about to feel the repercussions. We had 500 jobs lost today in Morgantown, and my concern is not only the cat is going to escalate, but dogs and other pets being discarded. So what are we going to do about that, as the problem is only going to get worse? I appreciate that you have all become conciliatory, but along with the cats and homelessness, I feel that there's a lack of compassion and empathy on the council, as well as I feel hatred. And I find that deeply disturbing. And I just remind you that hate is an inside job. You can't hate someone else if you hate yourself, and the lack of compassion and empathies to other is a reflection of how you see and treat yourself. I believe strongly in the public-private partnership. I worked out in LA for 10 years, and it was a very successful partnership, and I think that I would be willing to volunteer. I've raised millions in grants, but that we need to come together as a community now more than ever to find solutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. We have Spencer Porter.
I'm okay right now.
Thank you, Spencer. Monica Turner.
North Front Street, and I oppose this because I'm speaking for the cats. It's not their fault. They were abandoned. People threw them out. I feed the cat. As long as you're not trashing the street, but I think it's cruel not to feed the animals and find people that are caring for them. And that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Monica. Kathy Galinsky. Thank you, Kathy. Kelly White. Kelly, please state your name, address, and 3 minutes, please.
Good evening. My name is Kelly White. I'm a resident of Elm Grove. I'm also a board member of the Friendlier City Project. We are a 501c3 LGBTQ advocacy nonprofit based in and serving Wheeling. The reason I'm here is because Charleston has spent most of its legislative session, which is remarkably short, on distracting items regarding Mountain Dew and riding motorcycles without helmets. But now with SB 579, they've gone a little too far. Their naked homophobia is poorly disguised as an attempt at, quote, uniformity of law. I'm here to thank Ty Thorngate and Vice Mayor Jerry Slavinakis for signing the open letter that is a rejection of this legislation. And what I'm here to do today is to ask all of you to read the legislation thoroughly, consider it, and write to our representatives in Charleston. Your LGBTQ neighbors, family members, people in your community, we care about this legislation. This was thoughtfully voted upon and enacted in Wheeling. We appreciated it, and we respect that it's here. And I urge you to speak to people in Charleston about this, because this is something that is an overreach, and I think we can all agree upon that, despite your feelings on gay people. All that I want to say here is that we are your neighbors, we're educators, we're artists, but most of all, we're your constituents. And when this was passed, most of us were in agreement, and it was thoughtful and careful. And so I'm asking you to do the same thing. Sometimes things feel very hopeless and out of our control on a state and federal level, but you're leaders of a large, prominent city in West Virginia, and I would really appreciate if you would reach out and let us know that you're reaching out and considering what is being passed. Thank you.
I'm sorry, if there's others, this issue, please. So next is Donna Risby. Thank you, Donna. Lloyd Adams.
Mayor, members of council, and city administration. My name is Lloyd Adams. I'm a resident of 32 Oakmont Road, Wheeling. Although it's already been proposed to table it, that's part of my theory here. I'm here to ask City Council to table a proposed ordinance establishing fines to be assessed to City of Wheeling residents, as I believe further research investigation is needed to view the complete issue. Why only feral cat feeders are to be fined? What about the residents who feed the other animals in the city, such as deer, wild turkeys, duck, geese, or raccoons? Why hasn't council included them in this ordinance? The deer, turkeys, and raccoons pose a greater health risk to residents, such as rabies, ticks, and physical attacks. Has any attempt been made to set up a trapping program to capture the feral cats via working agreement with the Ohio County Animal Control? They are responsible for animal control in the county, which Wheeling is in Ohio County. A feral cat can carry many diseases that causes harm to humans. There's a trapping program would do more to protect the citizens of Wheeling than finding the residents. Another item regarding public health involves the control or lack of control regarding sewer rats who use the city sewer system as a food source and transportation pathway throughout the city. Talk about diseases, they have it. When I was city engineer and director of public works, water pollution control had a baiting program to reduce the population of the rats. But it is my understanding that this program has been discontinued. Why? Again, I'm requesting City Council table this proposed ordinance establishing fines for citizens who feed feral cats and do a review of what is actually the best for the citizens of Wheeling and control of all feral wild animals in the city. Any questions? Thank you.
Angela Phillips, address is 65 Leo Lane. I live in Marshall County, not Ohio County. I'm a major cat lover, rescued cats since 1998. When I found out about this issue yesterday, needless to say, I was very upset. I hope this is voted down and voted no, because this, in my experience, this is what's going to happen. You're going to have more cases of rabies, FIV, which is AIDS in cats. Mother cats will starve, and when they do deliver, they will deliver unhealthy litters. Animal shelters, you think they're full now? I've tried getting cats into animal shelters and rescues, and they're full. We will need bigger and better animal shelters if this is passed. And not only that, I worked with the homeless and I worked with AIDS patients. I'm a former certified medical assistant. And let me tell you this, cats, the sound of a purr fights depression. It helps thousands. It helps people in nursing homes. There's other answers. And don't always judge a book by its cover. This is the thing about the homeless. They didn't ask to be homeless, and neither did these cats. And it's everybody's job to solve this problem. If I can be of any help, I'd be more than willing to do that. My mom was a cat lover, and I inherited that from her. And I miss my mom every day. After 16 years of taking care of her, my heart went into rescue. I'm very emotional. I've not spoken in public since I went to college. So it's something we all need to think about. And as far as raccoons, I've fed cats outside all my life. The only time I ever seen a coon was in the winter. I don't know why people would be feeding coons. And as far as a $300 fine, that is totally ridiculous. That would neuter 6 male cats and 3 females. And I'd like to acknowledge Pam Lacefield. Please stand, Pam. If it wasn't for this woman and her clinic, the Ohio Valley would be in trouble. She has spayed and neutered, and her fosters all do excellent. I had 6 cats dumped on me, and I got to know Pam. She will answer my call or my text at any time of the day or night. There is no one, in my opinion, who does more for cats and kittens in the Ohio Valley than Pam Lacefield. We need her, and this ordinance needs to fail.
Angela, I'm sorry, your time's up.
Thank you all, and thank you for letting me speak. I appreciate it.
Brianna Crippen. Brianna, please, your name, address, and 3 minutes.
And I reside in Woodsdale. I just want you all to consider this while you're tabling this. The state of West Virginia covers animal abuse under West Virginia Code 61-8-19, which states, It is unlawful for any person to intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly mistreat an animal in cruel manner, abandon an animal, or withhold proper sustenance, including food or water. Wheeling, West Virginia similarly addresses animal cruelty in Article 505.01, which states, "No person shall intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly mistreat an animal in a cruel manner, abandon an animal, or withhold proper sustenance, including food or water." The amendment that is in discussion today states, "Intentionally providing food or sustenance for feral or stray cats is prohibited. It shall be unlawful for any person to place any type of food upon any property for the purpose of feeding stray and or undomesticated felines. Any person found to be in violation of this section shall be subject to penalties." I would argue that this contradicts the state and city animal abuse laws, considering that this amendment is to prohibit providing proper sustenance to feral or stray cats. From the March 31st article that the Intelligencer published titled "Wheeling City Council Ready to Pounce on Feral Cat Feeding," it states, "Feral cats that are being fed become a nuisance because they breed and their populations quickly multiply. The definition of a nuisance is a person, thing, or circumstance causing inconvenience or annoyance." So what the city's proposed solution was that because these cats are annoying them, was to withhold food from them. I think that there is a better solution that can be found, which Mr. Seidler had talked of earlier, a trap and release program that sterilizes these animals. Finally, I want to point all of you to read an article on felineresearch.org titled "Feral Cat Feeding Bans: The Reasoning, Risks, and Results," which states, "The relevant science suggests that such policies are not only unlikely to reduce free-roaming cat populations, but might actually backfire, increasing their numbers. Citizens who help those that are less fortunate, whether it be an animal or a human, should be commended for their actions of kindness and not penalized." Thank you.
Thank you, Brianna. We need a little help with this one. I can't quite read the last name, but it's Tina. Is it Wallish? Waterhouse. Thank you, Tina. And we have one more, Billy Munn. Billy, you here? Thank you. There are no further speakers. With that in mind, that concludes the hearing on Article 507, Dogs and Cats. We'll now entertain the hearing on Articles 363.09, Parking Limits. No one has signed up to speak at this hearing, so we'll declare that article hearing concluded. And then we have a hearing on the center market leases. Again, no one has signed up for that, so that hearing will also be concluded at this time. Is there a motion to return to regular session?
I would move that we resume the regular order of business.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And now we return to regular session. Next order of business is the mayor's report. And tonight we do have a number of proclamations that have been issued. So with your understanding, we're going to abbreviate these proclamations. When we're concluded reading these, we're going to ask each group one at a time to come up and get their photo with council. We'll present you with the full proclamation. And for all others, I just want to let you know that these proclamations will be posted in total on the city's website tomorrow. So you'll be able to see the entire proclamation. First, we have a proclamation on Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas child abuse and neglect can be prevented by supporting and strengthening Wheeling's families, thus preventing the far-reaching effects of maltreatment, providing the opportunity for children to develop healthy, trusting family bonds, and consequently building the foundation of communities. And now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in Wheeling, and encourage all citizens to work to make a good investment in early childhood programs and to join in a national effort to raise awareness and help prevent child abuse and neglect. So as soon as we're done, I know Claudia Raymer, I think Claudia's here. We'll present this and we'll get some photos. Our second proclamation tonight is in regard to Fair Housing Month. Whereas the Fair Housing Law prohibits discrimination in the sale, rental, or financing of residential housing based on race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, or familiar status. And now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the City of Wheeling, West Virginia. And we urge all citizens to join in our efforts to affirm fair housing opportunities for all people. The third proclamation this evening is Autism Awareness Month. Whereas Autism Awareness Month is an opportunity to promote acceptance, inclusion, and education about autism, ensuring that individuals on the autism spectrum are empowered to lead fulfilling and meaningful lives. Now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2025 as Autism Awareness Month in the City of Wheeling, West Virginia, and encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and support for individuals with autism and for their families as well. Our next proclamation tonight is for Wheeling Park High School speech and debate team. Some of you may not know, they won the state tournament again. I don't know how many years, but it's 45, higher than I can count. Thank you. Whereas the Wheeling Park High School speech and debate team swept first place in all 4 debate events for the first time in a decade and claimed first place in the overall sweepstakes with a commanding lead of over 450 points, securing their 45th consecutive West Virginia State Championship title. And now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby recognize and honor the Wheeling Park High School speech and debate team members and coaches for the extraordinary accomplishments, dedication, and spirit of excellence. The City of Wheeling takes great pride in their achievements and wishes them continued success in their future competition. And I do note they were ready. Okay, our next proclamation this evening is for the Central boys basketball team. Whereas this victory marks Wheeling Central's first boys basketball state championship since 2018 and their first championship game appearance in 2021, showcasing their resilience and commitment to success. And now therefore, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby recognize and commend the Wheeling Central Catholic High School Maroon Knight Boys Varsity basketball team for the 2024 WVSSAC Class AA State Championship title and extend congratulations to the players, coaches, families, and school community for their hard-earned success. Guys, phenomenal. And I might also add that among this group, we also have the West Virginia State Boys Basketball Player of the Year, Eli Sandcombs, also with us tonight. So let's give Eli a hand.
Great job. I get to see you.
Great job. Thank you so much. What a wonderful job. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, bear with me just a couple more. We have the Arbor Day 2025 proclamation here. Whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim April 14, 2025 as Arbor Day in the city of Wheeling, West Virginia. And we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to promote the well-being of this and future generations. Thank you, and we'll get Karen Cox and her group in a minute. Next, we have the National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Whereas crime affects individuals, families, and communities in profound and various ways, often leaving lasting physical, emotional, and social challenges. Now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim the week of April 6 through 12, 2025, is Crime Victims' Rights Week in the City of Wheeling, West Virginia. This proclamation reaffirms our dedication to building connections, standing in kinship with survivors, and creating a future where healing and hope are within reach for everyone. And we have one more, our final proclamation tonight. Glass Heritage Month. Whereas the City of Wheeling has a rich and storied glass manufacturing heritage with a legacy that dates back to the 19th and early 20th century when nearly 100 glass houses lined the Ohio River corridor between Pittsburgh and Wheeling, producing the finest glassware for homes, businesses, and markets across the nation and around the globe. And now, therefore, I, Denny Magruder, Mayor of the City of Wheeling, do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Glass Heritage Month in the City of Wheeling and encourage all residents to participate in activities and events celebrating our glass heritage and honoring the artisans who keep this vibrant tradition alive. Thank you all for your great patience. Now we'll kind of get back to the agenda here tonight. And with that, we have the clerk's report.
There is a notice to operate a private club, The Last Drop LLC at 9 South Broadway Street. And that concludes clerk's report.
Jessica. We're going to move down now to unfinished business, please.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $78,000 with May Engineering Company LLC of St. Clairsville, Ohio for Grandview Street slip repair engineering services to be charged to CDBG.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move to adopt the ordinance.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask you to record your vote, please. That motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $24,500 with Ferguson Waterworks of Fairmont, West Virginia for purchase of correlator for water distribution to be charged to water.
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance.
Is there any discussion? If not, again, I'd ask you to please record your vote. That motion's approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $27,000 with Centrus of Kenosha, Wisconsin for purchase of rental services for centrifuge to be charged to water pollution control.
I would move to adopt the ordinance.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none again, please record your vote. That motion,
Motion is approved. Yep.
okay. Motion approved.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling amending and reenacting Article 507 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Wheeling entitled Dogs and Cats to add 507.14 entitled Feeding of Feral, Stray, and/or Undomesticated Cats/Felines.
Move to hold the ordinance?
To hold the ordinance?
Hold it. Table.
Motion to table.
Table.
All right, is there a second?
I will second that.
Is there any further discussion or comment? Hearing none, I'd ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion has been tabled.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling amending and reenacting Article 363 of the Traffic Code of the City of Wheeling entitled Parking Meters to amend 363.09 entitled Overtime Parking to further clarify parking limits and overtime parking violations.
Move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes. Do we have all our signs up and we ready to go on this?
Yeah, yes, that was going to be part of my report.
Okay. We can hold it.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? Again, all those in favor, please record your vote. Motion approved.
An ordinance of the Council of the City of Wheeling fixing the assessment for the fines and costs for failure to take specific actions as required by the Ohio County Circuit Court to remove any and all debris, vehicles, etc., on real property in the city owned by Mark Downey, and further permitting the city to remove health hazards, abate the nuisance at the property, and dispose of such vehicles, metal debris, etc., remaining on the property, and thereafter place a lien for such related removal costs in accordance with the court order.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Again, if not, hearing none, please record your vote. Motion approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $106,225 to Stone Mile Group LLC of Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania for Lower Market House restroom renovations to be charged to ARPA.
Move for adoption of the ordinance.
Is there any discussion?
Do we have a timeline on this? When it would begin?
Well, typically it takes about 30 days after a council enacts an ordinance, so we do anticipate it beginning within the next month or so.
How about a time frame on how long it will take?
There is a time frame in the contract. I don't recall what it is,
I was
but
just
there is.
wondering, going up into the summer months, if it's going to be done by then.
Yeah, there's a contractual time frame. It's not very long, but I just don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none again, please record your vote. That motion's approved.
And that concludes unfinished business.
Thank you. We have before us some held over minutes. We have the Hall of Fame Board minutes from February 11, 2025, the Arts and Cultural Commission minutes from February 11, 2025, and the Traffic Commission minutes from January 16, 2025. Is there a motion to accept?
I'll move to accept those.
Is there any discussion? If not, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion's approved. We're down to remarks from City Council, and I'm going to ask Councilman Seiler to begin tonight, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder that our neighborhood cleanup events are May 3rd for Fulton, May 10th for North Wheeling, and May 17th for Wheeling Island. And that's all for me today.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to thank Volunteer Wheeling for putting together a cleanup in Elm Grove on Crick Road last Saturday. We spent about 2 hours there, picked up 23 bags of trash. I would encourage all counselors to work with Volunteer Wheeling to spend a couple hours here and there, just pick an area. And, though we'd always like to have more volunteers, we still had 8 people out there collecting trash. And was able to do a lot in 2 hours. So I appreciate Volunteer Wheeling for everything they do. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Cerro.
I'd just like to remind the residents of Ward 1 that our crime watch will be on April 10th, 7 p.m. at the Warwood Christian Church.
Thank you. We do have some minutes from the Finance Committee report of March 2025. Is there a motion to accept those?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion, changes? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Motion approved. That brings us down to the report of the city manager, so I ask Mr. Herron.
Great, thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to report that our mobile stage has arrived. It was delivered today. We do have training scheduled on it the end of this month, so it will be ready and operational for the coming summer and fall season. So we're excited about that. I wanted to give a real quick update on the POTA area for downtown and Center Market. A logo has been established. Cups have been ordered. We are in the process of formulating a website with frequently asked questions. We have had a number of interested businesses that have posed questions, so we're in the process of tracking those down to make sure that they're in conformance with the the West Virginia ABCA regulations. We do anticipate that area going live sometime in mid-May, but hopefully, or definitely before Memorial Day. As Councilperson Palmer mentioned earlier regarding the parking enforcement, the cameras have been installed, the software has been installed, and our meter enforcement personnel have been trained and are ready to go with enforcement of the 2-hour free 2-hour parking, generally free 2-hour parking in the downtown area. Once everything is set up and make sure the signs are up, etc., we do plan on beginning enforcement as soon as possible, but everything is in place to begin that. Also, under original propositions this evening, item number 2 relates to the fire department's new rescue truck. It's equipment that was needed to mount other equipment into the truck, and I would respectfully request 2 readings on that ordinance this evening, as that equipment needs to be done in order to put the truck into service, which we hope to happen either later this week or early next week. So again, I would respectfully request 2 readings on number 2. And then council recall several months ago, council authorized a local match for engineering through a congressionally directed spending allocation to the Army Corps of Engineers for the Elm Run Storm Water Management Project, which is a comprehensive look at the Elm Run watershed and what happens during massive rain events in that watershed and in neighborhoods affected by that watershed. I'm happy to report that the engineering on that has begun, and it's about 25% complete. So that project is active. I would anticipate engineering being completed and a report presented to council by the end of the year by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. That's my report.
Thank you, Mr. With that, we're down to report of other officers.
There are none this evening.
Petitions of redress or grievance.
There are none.
Petitions of all other kinds.
There are none.
Original propositions.
An ordinance authorizing the acquisition and construction of certain extensions, additions, betterments, and improvements to the sewage portion of the existing combined public waterworks and sewage system of the city of Wheeling and the financing of the cost thereof, not otherwise provided through the issuance by the city of Wheeling of not more than $3 million in original aggregate principal amount of combined waterworks and sewerage system revenue bonds, Series 2025A, West Virginia Infrastructure Fund, providing for the rights and remedies of and security for the registered owners of such bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents relating to the issuance of such bonds, approving, ratifying, and confirming a loan agreement relating to such bonds, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such bonds, and adopting other provisions relating thereto. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $64,583 with Sensible Products, Inc. of Richfield, Ohio for outfitting of equipment for fire rescue truck to be charged to the city service fee.
Move for a second reading.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, that motion's approved, so we'll have a second reading.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $64,583 with Sensible Products, Inc. of Richfield, Ohio for outfitting of equipment for fire rescue truck to be charged to the city service fee.
Move for adoption of the ordinance.
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor, please record your votes. Motion approved.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $18,384.90 with Grade 8 Solutions LLC of Warren, Ohio for purchase of a replacement pumps for Royal Oaks Lift Station to be charged to Water Pollution Control. An ordinance authorizing the city manager to expend funds in the amount of $62,000 with M&G Architects and Engineers of Wheeling, West Virginia for engineering services for demolition of Clay School to be charged to regular RCIP. A resolution of the Council of the City of Wheeling authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the lease with American Pies and Pastries for a portion of the Center Market property located at the 2200 block of Market Street.
I would move for adoption of the resolution.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion or questions?
How are the leases determined by who?
The leases are a negotiation between the tenant and the center market manager and the community and economic development director and the law director or city solicitor.
Any further discussion or questions? If not, I'm going to ask you to please record your vote. That motion's approved.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Wheeling authorizing the city manager to execute an amendment to the lease with Wood and Stitches for a portion of the Center Market property located at 2200 block of Market Street.
Is there a motion? Is there any discussion? Again, if not, please record your vote. And that resolution is also approved.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Wheeling approving the Section 108 loan guarantee application for the Ohio Valley Food and Innovation Hub and authorizing the filing of the Section 108 loan application with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, in the name of the City of Wheeling, West Virginia.
I would move to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Questions?
Yes. So I'm reading through this. I don't exactly understand what this is. Is there anybody that can explain the Ohio Valley Food and Innovation Hub?
Yes, I can. And we do have representatives from the Food Hub here, Innovation Hub as well. But this is the 1400 block of Market Street project.
Oh, okay.
And you recall that the city purchased those properties, did an RFQ for developers. This is the final piece of the capital stack necessary to begin that project. It's a very complicated capital stack that's taken a lot of time and energy, but it does involve federal and state historic tax credits, as well as new market tax credits. The Section 108 loan is the last dollars in for this project, which is approximately a little over $11 million, of which this is a $2 million piece of it. And further, just for clarification or information, the city has used a Section 108 loan for the Oric project, as well as the Lowe's project, and it's also part of the incentive package on the WVU Regional Cancer Center project.
I'd just like to point out that, from what I understand, this is the final piece for the 1400 block. And one of the things I'd like to point out is that it's a mixed-use development. And from what I understand, and I know the representatives are here in the back of the room and they can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's pretty exciting because all the bottom floors, there's 4 different storefronts, and they're all going to be full for at least 7 years. So I think that's a wonderful thing for our downtown Wheeling. So I would urge that we all pass this resolution.
Any further comments or discussion? If not, I'd ask you to please record your vote. That resolution's approved.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement and expend funds as awarded to the Wheeling Police Department from the West Virginia First Foundation.
Move for adoption of the resolution.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Any questions? If not, please record your vote. And that motion's approved.
And that concludes unfinished business.
Thank you. Those wishing to be heard tonight, all those that have signed up have already spoken. And so with that, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion. Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, meeting adjourned.
Wow, 8 proclamations in under an hour? This guy's good.
Eight proclamations.
Give me that.